Welcome to the Hungry Meeple, a podcast about making connections with friends and families through game, food, and drink. And today we're in Essen, and we're going to talk to Bart, the designer of Bable and L'Oaf today, right? Both published by Wolfhorn, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Bart, I'm actually really excited to talk to you because
Thanks.
Babel is one of my favorite games. I love Babel. However, I will say that the rest of the crew and the Hungry People don't share that love for Babel. I will say it's a very challenging game. I don't think we've ever won once, right? Tell me about your experience with Babel and the challenging of it, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I totally get it. I think it's a type of game some people love it, and other people are like, this is too confusing for me. And I think I know that's the experience that I wanted to put in that game. You know, like you have your language, you understand each other, and then slowly you're like, what the hell is everybody saying? I don't get it anymore. And I love that confusion, and I'm happy that there's people who love it too.
That is such an amazing thing. So Babel is about an evolving language, and I think that it captures that so well. And you just mentioned that you love that tension that creates, right? So love, on the other hand, it's not about evolving language. It's about working in a bakery, right? How did you go from languages to hey, let's make some bread?
So I think I'm always looking for sort of interesting themes that are like a little bit different than what you would see, but they're so recognizable situations for people to be in. You know, we've all been in a situation where you did not understand somebody else and you still had to communicate. So loaf is very much about you have to work together, but you don't really want to work very hard. You know, so like we've been in that situation, or maybe you've been in the situation where you were working hard, but somebody else was not. You know, but the boss didn't notice. You know, like you were doing the extra work and they didn't get fired. So that's what loaf is about. It's like, you know, you want to do as little as possible, but just enough to not get fired.
Yeah, and love. So Bible again is fully cooperative. We're all working together. But then love is like semi-cooperative, and you have that push and pull, that reputation, right? Good reputation, bad reputation. Is there any other? Was there any mechanism that never made it to the final design of loaf?
So, that's an interesting question. So it has always been a semi-cooperative game from the start. Just from this idea, I was like, okay, you have to work together, but nobody really wants to make the effort. So I think mostly the theme changed, like sort of the setting changed a lot. At first it was like students who had to work together on a group assignment. At some point it was like explorers who were trying to find the lost treasure, but everybody just wants to take it for themselves, you know, that kind of stuff. So that has always been in there. I think there was a mechanism at some point where you could sort of get some rewards for yourself, some small rewards every round, and somebody would take that and they would give them some small benefit to the game. So that's something I took out in the end. So yeah, that's something that I took out.
That's very interesting. Love is in English we'll say it's a pun, right? I didn't know because I don't speak French. Somebody had to explain it to me, right? So it's very interesting. You talk about the different iterations of the theme. How did you end up with that funny theme with that pun?
So I think there's two things. The pun helped me. So I was doing a bit of research about the game, like about sort of this idea. And I came up on this video that's called social loafing, which is the principle that when people work in a group, they work less hard than if they work alone. And then I was thinking loafing, hey, loaf also means a loaf of bread. So that's where I get the setting from. And also I was looking for a setting that was a bit funny. Because, you know, like I first had this idea with the students working together. And then I got feedback from players. They were saying like, okay, this gets a bit too close to home. I've been in this situation. I was that hard worker where others were not. I don't like to relive that. So it's like I need a team that's a bit funny, that people can relate to. You know, they can relate to having this job that you don't really like, but it's still funny. So that's the two things that brought me to set it in a bakery.
That's amazing. You did talk about a little bit of the experience of the play testing, right? What other things surprised you? Was there anything like jumped at you when you were play testing this game that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, so in the first iteration that I had this sort of like two ways the game could end. It's still in there a bit. Like, you know, you can fail too many times or succeed too many times, and that that determines whether people get fired or not. So what I had in the first iteration, I thought it would be funny. Like, okay, so if you succeed enough, then the player who did the least wins. Then I was like, okay, what happens? So if you fail too many times, then the player who did the most would win. And I thought that would be pretty funny, but that did not work at all. People did not know what to do. They were like, should I work hard? Should I not work hard? I don't know. So that was sort of a surprise to me and something I learned like, okay, I need to give players a good direction in that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us in Essen, right?
welcome.
Like I said, I love Bable, and everybody else love loaves. So there you go. They're all lazy. That's what happened, right? They identify with that. That's what it is.
I get that.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Bart.
Thank you.
In the Hungry Meeple, we always ask at the end, what are you hungry for? So while we are here, or next time that people come to Essen, what should they be hungry for?
Oh, wow. I didn't have lunch yet, so I am hungry. So this morning I went this pretzel place, like, and they have these huge ones. Like, that it's something I love about Germany. Like when they do food, they do big ones. Like I would say a pretzel right now. Tonight probably a schnitzel.
Okay.
They also do these like good big ones. That's yeah, I love that.
So there you go. If you are in Essen, not only get some games from Bart, which are great, also get some pretzels or schnitzel. Thank you so much.